Hello again, this is Charles Figley. I wanted to comment a little bit on these videos that we're having you see. We tried to select those videos that provide the greatest examples of resilience and how resilience emerged and the various characteristics of resilience. Uh, one of the uh, one of the selections that was recommended by Dr. Schiraldi is a TED event about trauma resilience, and it is about it's one of the first ones. It follows Dr. Schiraldi's discussion of happiness skills. Even though it's kind of hard to hear her because English is not her first language, hopefully you'll be able to understand enough to be able to determine what she's saying. And what she's saying is very important. She's emphasizing that if you think about your kids, if you think about what is most important to them, you would think happiness is very important, and it is, and optimism. But that's also should be considered a element of resilience. And we're going to talk about some theories and some findings associated with the fact that people that tend to be happy, tend to be optimistic, tend to have more friends, tend to be more popular, but also they tend to be more resilient. They tend to spring back more quickly. People want to be around them more. And as a result, they have more of a social network. So all these things tend to fit together. But with Dr. Ilona Bonnewell, she talks about these things. Great story about taking her children to India, and how she ended up being comforted by one of her children, suggesting that he may have been more resilient to setbacks than other people. To illustrate what Schiraldi talks about in terms of illustrating moral strength as a part of resilience, there's a very poignant video about a Medal of Honor winner award ceremony. That's Army Staff Sergeant Ty Carter. And it describes what he did in combat, and it indicates this kind of moral strength. Because if you have this moral strength, this internal compass, this sense of right and wrong, then there's a greater possibility that you will not worry about it. You'll just go ahead and do it, and also that you will not have second thoughts afterwards. But it's very compelling. I also want to talk about going back to what I was saying earlier on about the people that are positive. There was a series of papers by a psychologist, first at the University of Michigan. I think she's at Emory now, and that's Barbara Fredrickson. But she talks about resilience and emotions, and it confirmed what Bonnewell has talked about in Schiraldi throughout this KB, that that others who those who are resilient tend to be positive, tend to have a positive attitude, and that appears to be really critical for resilience. In her paper, she talks about the concept of broaden and build, and it's the idea that the greater you broaden your social network and build it up, in other words, the quality and quantity, the more you will be able to be resilient. Well, what is required is more of a positive attitude, optimism. So again, it ties into what we have been talking about. So hopefully that will be useful to you, and I'll talk to you a little later.